Good morning, Rick. It's so great to see you.
Well, good morning, Keith. Good to be with you again. Excuse me.
Oh, absolutely. So we're going to do a show that's inspired by something that happened yesterday, and I love when these things happen. The title of this podcast is Get Weird Inside. So I've been playing pickleball now for several years, and like almost any experience you have, if you really think about it, it can be a metaphor for life. There's so many life lessons and experience, and I think that they're pretty simple. And when people give you a bit of wisdom or some adages, it's normally about something very simple. So here am I on a pickleball court. I've been drilling, trying to get better for years, not coming from a tennis or a racket sport background. And I have a great coach who I work with, two great coaches. And this one is particular is about my coach, James. And James is from Zambia. He's very direct. And he is, people remind me when I tell people about James, they're like, man, I'm so happy that you're getting uh this kind of treatment because that's the kind of treatment that I've gotten from you and ToBeRe forever. So, so he doesn't want any excuses. He just wants thank you and that's it. So we've been playing and he's helping me develop this one shot and we're developing it, right? And what he really wants is he's like, that's great that you can do these shots now when we're just drilling, but what about when you're in a game, especially with people you don't know? Kind of like, hey, you go off to these retreats, to,
Yeah.
really deepen your spirituality, but that's all great when you're somewhere in this tropical place and you're out on the beach or whatever else, or you're in your yoga room at home. It's all great to have your practice out there. But when life shows up, what is your practice, right? And when people cut you off or you don't get the promotion, something happens, you go through a divorce, where's your practice then? So with James, this is what I'm thinking, like this is all good for me. This is all great for me. So he wants me to play more open play. That's where you play with random people and you get a chance to test your skills. And he also wants me to do league play to where it counts, like for a rating, all of which I haven't done. One of the reasons I haven't done it is because Matt is my partner and I'm waiting for Matt to commit to going, and Matt hasn't. Well, yesterday told me that I can't wait for Matt anymore. I got to do an open play session on a regular basis. And the reason that I know I do is because there's a part of me that doesn't want to do it. And so that's why I have to do it. The part of me that wants to look good and not look bad and look like I can play and to play well. Like I'm attached to outcome. Rick is nodding, so this familiar.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so we finished drilling. I'm happy to be there. It's a new space that I've never been into, a new indoor court. And at the end, he's like, "Do you have to go?" I said, "No. You want to drill more?" And he's like, "No. I want us to play open play." My ego inside said, "What?" Like I wasn't
Yeah.
prepared for open play. And thank God, because I probably would have been obsessing about it. So he's like, I'm going to play those guys over there. Now, I've been watching those guys in between our breaks drilling because they're on the court next to us, and I can tell they're good. Can I tell they're better than me or better than my skill set? I don't know because I haven't put my skill set into a game situation with people I don't know. So I really don't know. I can't measure how skilled I am from all the drills yet until I get into that kind of situation. So, but little Keith has his doubts that we're going to play well. So we get into the game, and and mind you, James has been begging Matt and I to get into league play. He's like, "You guys are good in drills, but I need you to go play other people, and I want to be there when you take a beating. I want you guys to take a lot of beatings. That's how you're gonna get better." That's James. So he's like, okay, he said, "Hey, Mr. Keith," as he calls me, Mr. Keith. He was like, "Mr. Keith," and he's probably like James is probably like 24 years old, tall, 6'2", great shape, athletic. The guy moves around the court like he is gifted to move around the court, like he was born to move. Like you see some athletes, Rick, and they just like everything they do when they move, you can just tell that's an athlete. They move
Yeah.
different. That's how James moves. So we get on the court, and James flips the ball to me. It's like, "Hey, you're serving," and I was like, "Okay." And I went to go to my granny serve to where it's underhanded, where I know it's good. He's like, "No, we're not serving like that." It's like, "You're not going to be my partner and serve like that." But I'm like, "No, but I know I can." He said, "But I know I can get it in." He said, "I don't care. You're not serving like that." So, and someone said to me, someone was like, I was like, and what do you do? I said, I serve the way he said serve. He's like, you know what, Keith, this reminds me of somebody came into the studio and said, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna do a squat rack today. I think I'm gonna do air squats. I'd be like, no, you get into that squat rack. You get into that squat.
Air squats, oh
You get
man.
into that squat rack. So James was like, okay, so Rick, the first serve I hit, and in pickleball, you have on the opposite team doubles, you have one player that's up close to the line to where a lot of the soft part of the game is played. And that's where most points when you get to higher levels are won, is at the net. So the first one, this guy standing there, and my serve was so off, Rick, I almost hit the guy. I mean, he had to dodge like the Matrix to get out of the way. That's how bad my serve was out of bounds. It would be like the first baseman, it would be like the catcher trying to throw the first base to get the runner out, and he throws to third base. That's how bad it was. It was bad. So I'm like, oh my goodness. And James just said, don't worry, we're fine. He's like, you're nervous. Relax. You're with me. Relax. There's no way we're losing to these guys. And I'm sitting there like, we're not? He's like, we're going to win. I'm like, we are? Like, so, Rick, I took 10 serves. I would say I think it was about 10 serves.
Man, oh man.
I missed 8 of the 10. And the ones that I hit, they shouldn't even qualify by serves. They barely made it over the net and inbounds. So, Rick, inside, I'm a mess. But what I'm a mess about is because there's a number one player in the world that James played 2 weeks ago in a big tournament. And it was a 3-set match, and James won a match out off of him. So James is like a legend in his town because nobody beats this guy, and James beat him. That's how good James is. And so everybody's hearing about James, so they're gathering around our court. They're gathering around our court.
Oh
And
man, you have an audience. Oh
then,
no.
then they're watching your boy miss 8 to 10 serves. So I'm sitting there, and this is the title of the podcast. What I'm present to was I was getting weird inside. Like
Mm.
I was nervous. I didn't want the ball. I didn't want to do it, but I kept making myself do it because I know that the key is that part of me that doesn't want to do it needs to go. And it shows up in different ways. The part of you that, you know, that if someone says something that you perceive as a criticism and you want to get away, people make a joke about you, you do a presentation, forget your lines, or whatever the case may be, that part of you that causes you suffering, the part of you that doesn't want to show up, doesn't want to be, on the, was it Theodore Roosevelt that said that part of you that needs to be in the arena? It's not the guy who wins, but the part that's in the arena. Like that person, that part of me didn't want to be there. That's why I know I got to do it. And I realized, something that Michael Singer said, which was, he said, that part of you that doesn't allow you to be your fully realized conscious self, you want to hold that part of you out to the world and let the world keep taking a piece of it until there's nothing left. And that's why I got to keep doing open play. Not so that I can get my serve in. And I think that's the folly. You make it about the skill or the activity. Not that you don't want to get better in that, but that's secondary. What's primary is the reason I want to get it better. The reason that little Keith wants to get it better is so people think that I can play good. No, that's not the reason. The reason I want to go is because it's robbing me of having this amazing experience of playing this kid's game and being connected to people and laughing and having fun, win or lose, serve in or out, it doesn't matter. It's robbing me of that experience. And so for that reason, it has to go. Now I'll work on the serve because, I'm working on the serve. But if I go the next time and hit balls out, I hit balls out because that part of me that doesn't want to go to open play, doesn't want to play with people that I want to know because I don't want to look bad, that's the part that needs to go. And I think that, and I've lived my whole life that way, especially since I've embraced the practice. If I continue to live that way, man, life will continue to be a blast. So that part of you that gets weird inside, just be mindful of it, and it's got to go. It's got to go. You don't want people to keep throwing you fastballs if you can hit a fastball. You want some curves in there. You're like, no, 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 don't throw me any curves. No, I want the curveballs too, and I got one yesterday, Rick. So it was entertaining, man. I called Matt and told him the story. Matt couldn't stop laughing because Matt knows James, and Matt knows that feeling. So I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, gosh, first of all, I'm glad you found James. Just like most of us found you. We had the same trouble when we didn't want to do squats and we're opting for the air squats for fear that we would look foolish to everybody else. But yeah, the idea of being weird inside is a great thing. I think it's like, a reset, right? You know, your life is going so well, you're on autopilot, and all of a sudden you get into a situation where there's no guardrails. You don't have the usual protections. It's just you raw, vulnerable, failing, looking like a fool. That is really character building, right? I mean, that is
Yeah,
stuff where you learn and you learn and you learn that it's okay. It's totally okay. The sun still comes up the next morning. So in your case, you got two of them of the 10 in, you had a start where it wasn't a complete zero. I mean, and what's the point? It's the idea that you're out there being
exactly.
vulnerable, doing something that's important for you and trying your best and not caring what the outcome is,
Yeah.
detaching from the outcome. Very hard to do because we all want to look like pros. We all want to look like we're smooth and elegant and sleek and all of the other things that we have in our heads that we should be. And it has nothing to do with reality or your own internal happiness. So congratulations, Keith. That's a great, great learning experience. So thanks for sharing it.
Oh, Rick, you're so welcome. I'm grateful for the experience too. I'm playing today, so my commitment is to serve the same way that I did yesterday, and not go back to the granny serve because that would be hiding out. And I just need to keep working. The serve is secondary. Again, what's primary is me working on that part of me that is concerned about looking good and avoiding looking bad, which we learn from Landmark. So, Rick, thank you for, your compassion, uh, for your kind words, and as always for your encouragement. I love you, Rick.
Oh, yeah, I love you, buddy. And keep going, man. You'll probably be a champion. I'll read in the paper about you one of these days because you're able to conquer that very thing you're talking about. So be weird inside today when you're serving.
Okay, okay, Rick, thank you. I love you.
I love you. Adios.
Adios.